Hey there, Mike Dance at Brookside Cloud Consulting in Austin, Texas. And today I want to talk to you about Microsoft Teams and voice. I mean, Microsoft Teams has come on the scene as a very powerful tool, for collaboration and workplace presence and chat stuff, video meetings, mainly a lot of internal file storage and integration into the Microsoft stuff. And it's just grown from 75 million users to 300 million in 3 short years. I mean, it's crazy. So, I mean, but there are a lot of people that just added it on something that they were already using. So in many cases, they're using Microsoft Teams and a separate phone system. So their desktop experiences, they got a phone on their desk, it's got voicemail and a work number. And then they've got their team stuff over there. They use just mainly for just internal stuff and presence and chat, things of that nature to communicate internally. So it's unnecessarily complicated to have both operating at the same time. It only makes sense to take a look at moving everything into a single, something that everybody already knows how to use, Teams, Microsoft Teams on any device anywhere. You don't make it really simple. There's no real change to the end users. Just the calls start coming in. I'll show you how it works in a second. But really reduce complexity for the end users and for IT and for everybody. And so there's two ways to do it. There's the Microsoft way to go about it, which is kind of complicated. They have a Microsoft calling plan that they have that has 3,000 minutes. It's made for Microsoft Teams. You pay them directly. They're not really good at being in the phone business. If Teams goes down, all your voice goes down. There's not much of a backup plan. They get you 3,000 minutes, and then it goes to a higher price. And then they've got issues and stuff they can't seem to work out. Is what I hear from a lot of other people. I don't really hear good things about it, so I would consider it to be unnecessarily complicated. Now, the other way is how pretty much everybody else does it. Since there is no, API, you have to create your own application programming interface pretty much to work with Teams. So everybody has a different way to go about it, but they kind of use something called direct routing, which essentially lets the Microsoft Teams really be just a software that is on another company like 8x8 or NICE or IntelliPeer, or one of the other people's networks that has unlimited US and calling in 37, 47 countries. They all have different packages. And basically that's why you need me. I'll find the best one because literally everything will work with Teams. It's just some works better with others. And that's the part that you don't know till you get in the middle of it and you start getting excuses. And, you really can't trust the IT people for the most part that do this because they have so many problems and they charge you to fix them and it doesn't make any sense. There's easier ways to go about it. I think direct routing is the best way. And so when you look at direct routing, it's just basically, next thing you know, you're using one app for everything and all you need is a headset. It's really slick how it works. I'll tell you, let me show you. So basically, if you're using Teams over here, you've got, there's your stuff, your Teams stuff, your calendaring, all your different stuff here over here in your dashboard. And then there's a button called calls. Now, when you hit calls, up comes this. Now you have a dial pad. That's not there today. There's your work number. As you move down, you got the ability to call forwarding, things of that nature. Easy. There's more settings here. I mean, you can, things where it gives you a whole lot of options to be able to do things here, all different kinds of permissions. I won't go into detail, but you can really customize it for each individual user, or they can do it themselves. And then over here, you see there's your speed dials, and then over here you've got your volume, your calls coming in. So here's a call that I think I made earlier. I want to either call back, remove from view, or maybe add them as a contact. I could say that was one of my test numbers, I believe. But anyway, so you'd add that if you wanted to. But for the most part, that's how it would work. And so this particular implementation, they've got software that they have for Teams, and what they've got is on here. Well, come on, Mike. It is. It's always going to do this kind of stuff to me. You see 8x8 flashing there. Oh, there it is. Okay, so there's the 8x8 app. It would normally be on this toolbar in a different configuration. There it is. Okay, so with 8x8, what you've got is you've got a dashboard that they've built that is within Teams. So I'm within Teams, but they have a dashboard that's embedded into Teams. And so what it's going to give you on a faster network than what I've got over here at my home, with Spectrum, is a dashboard that shows you voicemail, SMS texting, everything all in one place. This is ridiculously slow. I apologize. So there's your voicemail messages right there. Any voicemail you would have would be there. SMS would be here. Any call recordings that you had made, where you record calls using the recorder call would be there. And then one of the neat things I like is the settings button. So when you hit this account settings button, what this is actually doing within Teams is it's accessing the 8x8 phone system, which is very, very easy to program. And with just a little bit of training, these people can, do all kinds of things, as you can see, from call forwarding to voicemail to changing passwords, all the little things that IT has to deal with now, all move back onto the end user, all within Teams, as you can see. So, I mean, that works really well. Like I said, it's called direct routing, right? So there's Mike Dance, and you see the basic information. And I apologize, my network is slow. Where I live is just not great, I guess. So there to enable Teams for an end user, when you're adding them, you just click a button and boom, it's already set up. The initial setup goes into Active Directory, and these two things are in sync. You never have to touch it. The IT people don't have to do jack with the phone systems anymore. But there's your basic voice settings. This is numbers where you assign seat licenses if you need them, but nobody ever needs to have anything to do with that. They'd be locked out of that. The ability to do call forwarding and change passwords, and that would save us all a lot of time. So like I said, the calls just kind of come in there. There's your dial pad. It looks the same over here. You can make and receive calls, and the outbound caller ID comes up, for both phone calls and SMS texting, right? And then, this way, if the people like this, they can use their own AirPods and all their different headsets, and everybody can really customize their experience. Use an iPad, any device that can run the app, can be, part of the phone system, right? So the phone just runs in the background. 8x8 is just an example. There's other options. They connect up hardware phones too, the latest Polycom phones. These have a built-in Teams in an Android touch screen right there. That's about as slick as it gets right now when you got Teams for desktop. Most people are using headsets though. So adding voice to Microsoft Teams reduces complexity and saves money and allows you to use one app for everything. And like I said, it's 8x8 using Teams as a client in this situation, right? So, you have everything all in one app, all in Teams, right? Everything's over here running perfectly in Teams, and then basically you connect with direct routing right into 8x8's global cloud. Then the phones are there. You've got the apps all running over here that Microsoft doesn't offer, things like an operator position and a lot of virtual agents and things. Integration that revolves clicks, not code. I mean, they're real integrated. So I mean, they have a very reliable network. Like I said, they integrate with all the major CRMs, things of that nature, as well as provide calling into all these other countries. So the biggest thing though they do is if you go down this route, is what happens if Teams goes down for very long. So if you look at the way the architecture is, you've got Teams running, you've got 8x8 running, everything's cool, and then boom, Teams goes down. All the Teams user devices, anything that's in a Microsoft Teams solution is gone, is dead, it's not working. But the 8x8 and their phones still work. So that's one thing. And then if it's going to be an extended period of time, you see the phones still work, they can just fire up the 8x8 Work app, which is an app that comes with 8x8 with a seat license, starting at around $8 a piece. That, so if Teams is going to be down, they just log into this, and this gives them everything that they need. Because, at the end of the day, when you compare the two, I just got to tell you, 8x8's a lot more reliable. It uses about a quarter of the bandwidth. And so while it is a great solution to work with Teams, it's one of the best ones I know of with Teams. You're talking about, they have an app that does the same thing. So like Hayes County was a place where they had 1,000 users that were using Teams, and they went and they decided to use the 8x8 Work app and liked it better. So, I mean, that's what they've been on for a while and never looked back. And so mainly it's going the other way though. This is what it looks like. It looks a lot like Teams. There's your calling. I don't know who that guy is, but let's see. Then they have a phone app, too, that allows you to do it without having to add the $8 license that you have to add for pretty much everybody for direct routing. So it says you don't need it, or you don't need the calling plan. And so it's a workaround that, but there's some limitations to it, and I won't go into detail. When there's limitations, that create different, I just say it's unnecessarily complicated, because I know direct routing, I've done several of them. It's a piece of cake. I like that better. Now, another way to approach this is through IntelliPeer. So IntelliPeer has direct routing and or operator connect ability to integrate to Teams. And essentially the way it works, it's not complicated, by the way. They have redundant SIP trunks to go over your connections. So you could have Spectrum and AT&T and or whoever, Comcast, it doesn't matter. And then when one goes down, they just kind of cake over it. It's kind of automatic failover between all of it. But that, at the end of the day, that works very well. And they use a session border controller to connect, and just basically, for the most part, I guess, give you a SIP trunk for starting at around $8 that will connect to each one of your Teams users. So this is great. I mean, the thing is, the third choice you see up here is, so if carrier A, AT&T goes down, and carrier two, Comcast goes down to three, that, well, you're going to route all the calls from the cloud to their mobile phones, right? So they don't have to, you know, the 8-way, they had an app. It was a lot more complicated. This is what we call not complicated right here. And like I said, this is around $8 to $10 a user is where it starts. So it's a very low cost per user for being able to have, you know, a really good solution that works with Teams. And then, of course, there's mass notification systems like Informacast. It gives you digital signage and lets everything go. Then this is like for, you know, the new everything going on with the panic buttons and things of that nature to, you know, connect 911. So at the end of the day, they have a integration that goes right into Teams. And so that's for mass notification. So everyone's notified on every possible kind of device of everything going on in the event of an emergency. So at the end of the day, Brookside Cloud Consulting helps you reduce complexity, save money with cloud-based solutions to deliver the best possible customer and user experience, along with the highest level of business continuity. So yeah, I basically work with cloud-based solutions from Gartner Magic Quadrant, as well as fiber and coax with the and managed SD-WAN from the major carriers and providers. So it looks like this. You know, these are some of the, we can work with anybody. There's several hundred of these companies, but these are the ones in the Gartner Magic Quadrant, and they're the ones I've worked with before. And these are the carriers down here where I know people and I can put in tickets. I get US based customer service and wholesale pricing. So I can get better pricing on all this stuff than you can yourself, which is a really good reason to let me take care of this for you. But anyway, so we also do a lot of next gen 911 and safety solutions for schools and campuses and multi-story buildings and companies that are in the process of complying with the latest FCC regulations. And then the last thing is free payment processing through Titanium Payments in Austin, as well as free credit card machines, free cordless ones, free point of sale systems, whatever it takes. These guys will make it happen. We get you the best pricing on the right cloud-based solutions for voice, video, CX, customer service, network services, all those things, right? Using Gartner, like I said, Gartner Magic Quadrant providers, all this stuff is available. These Gartner Magic at brooksideus.com, of course, www. So if you're interested in things like, you know, customer journey analytics and self-service chatbots, AI, I've got access to all these things and pricing. I tell you, there's a lot of these stuff going on with IBM and Watson and several of these chat GPT companies. But go to our website, like I said, brooksideus.com. Let me know if and when we can help you. I'd love to, man. I tell you, I'm vendor agnostic. I'll find the best deal for you, and it's definitely worth it to get me involved and help you get the best solution for your business.